This is Arvin Vora, founder of Vora Method and author of How to Get into an Ivy League College. In this video, we're going to talk about linking verbs and action verbs. An action verb is an action. It's where the subject is doing something. A linking verb is used to describe the subject. Let's take a look at these two sentences. Fred hit a dog. In this case, hit is an action verb. It's something that Fred is doing. He's hitting the dog. Fred is the subject, hit is the action verb, and dog is the direct object. Now let's take a look at this situation. Fred is a dog. Well, in this case, Fred isn't doing something to a dog. Fred isn't doing something at all. This sentence is just telling you what Fred is. In this case, he's a dog. Is in this case is called a linking verb, and linking verbs are used to describe subjects. The subject here is Fred. The verb is, which is a linking verb. And dog here is something we call a predicate nominative, which tells you what Fred is. Let's take a look at some of these. We have Fred is tall, Fred seems tall, Fred appears tall, Fred looks tall. All of these are linking verbs. All of these are describing Fred. Is a linking verb. Seems is a linking verb. Appears, in this case, is a linking verb. And looks is a linking verb here as well. All of these are describing Fred. Each one of them is telling you the first one that he is tall, then he seems tall, he appears tall, or that he looks tall. Now, how can you tell for sure if a word is a linking verb or an action verb? You have to look at the actual sentence. You have to actually understand what's going on. There are some words that can be linking verbs or action verbs just depending how they're being used at that moment in time. So you have to ask yourself this: is the subject doing something, or is the sentence telling you what the subject is? Look over here. Fred looks happy. Fred looks at the cat. In the first situation, happy is describing Fred. So in this case, looks is functioning as a linking verb. In the second case, Fred is not a cat. He's looking at a cat. So here, looks is an action verb. So you have to actually analyze the sentence. You have to understand the sentence and find out, is the verb in that sentence telling you what the subject is doing? Or is it just telling you what the subject is? In this case, with Fred looks happy, Fred happy is describing Fred. If we say Fred looks at the cat, well, the cat is not describing Fred. Fred is not a cat. He's looking at a cat. Let's look at another one. Fred sounded tired, and Fred sounded the alarm. In this pair, the first one is a linking verb because sounded is describing Fred. Tired is an aspect of Fred. It's a description of Fred. Fred sounded tired. In this case, Fred sounded the alarm. Well, the alarm isn't describing Fred. Fred is not an alarm. He's a person. He sounded the alarm. That means he, set off the alarm. So when you're looking at the difference between linking verbs and action verbs, you have to ask yourself this: is this describing the subject? If that's the case, it's a linking verb. Or is this telling you what the subject is doing? If it's an action that the subject is doing, then it's an action verb.